Hello my loves, and welcome back once again to the annual Yharnam tours. Now then, where were we actually? It's been a while. Oh, I know. We're going to go and have a go at the version of ROM, the Vacuous, in fact, that exists inside of the Chalice Dungeons. This is tricky. This is a really, really difficult fight, actually. It's much harder than the actual ROM that you fight in the main story of the game, just because of the environment. There's something about the enclosure of the chamber in which you fight her and the pillars and everything. It makes it much, much, much trickier to actually handle her. I kind of like it, though. There's something kind of entertaining about it, I've got to say. So, let's go and give it a go. We will get our friend, like we did last time, because if nothing else, he acts as a fairly decent distraction for all of the nasty little spiders that are wandering around and whatnot. And we don't like nasty little spiders. I don't like them at the best of times, even real ones. So really, like, big nasty little spiders are right off insofar as I'm concerned. Okie dokie, so we've got our mate, who's not going to last for very long. Let's be honest, we're probably not going to last for very long. This is a hard fight. Although, that said, there are a lot of hard fights coming up, aren't there? We don't have that many left that aren't hard. We're near the end of the main game, in the main... Oh, there she is. In the main storyline. And we've got the add-on to go, the Old Hunters. And the Old Hunters, those of you who've watched my previous playthroughs, you know. You fucking know, alright? First boss in the Old Hunters, yeah, Lawrence. Not Lawrence, no, Ludwig. Both of those bastards, actually. Lawrence and Ludwig. The founders of the Healing Church. They are bosses. Their bestial forms are bosses in the Hunter's Nightmare. Because that's where they ended up. Because that's where they deserve to be, being the wankers that they are. They are the hardest bosses in the game. By a country mile. The final bosses, Gehrman, that's not a spoiler, we played this through 4 times on this channel already, it's not a spoiler that Gehrman is kind of the ostensible final boss of Bloodborne, the guy in the wheelchair in Hunter's Dream, yeah, the old guy, he's kind of the final boss, but not, depending on how you play it. There's him, and if you play it in a particular way, there's the moon presence after him. They are nothing in comparison to Lawrence and Ludwig. They are so difficult. And then, of course, you've got the final boss of the Hunter's Nightmare add-on, which is, oh my god, the Orphan of Kos. Bloody hell. It's a brilliant fight. You'll see it when we get there, because we are going to get there. We are going to get there. I mean, I'm more or less finished now, so I may as well go the whole hog again, right? May as well go the whole hog. Oh. What's she doing? Ah! Mystico magic attacks. And it missed! It missed! Yeah, every boss we face from this point on is going to be a frigging nightmare. Quite literally. I mean, that was a pun. It was not a conscious one, and it was not a good one, but a pun nonetheless. I love these spiders. No, I mean, you know, giant spiders in fantasy video games are 10 a penny. There are always giant spiders. They are a de facto enemy of this kind of story. But there's something about the spiders in FromSoft games. FromSoft spiders are worse, they're nastier, they're somehow more legitimately unsettling than any other giant spiders. I don't know why. I mean, these aren't even the worst of them. Wait till we come across the Nightmare Apostles later on. They are nasty. We'll find those in the Nightmare Realm a little later. Which, you know, considering that we're going to be doing the Hunter's Nightmare first, is not going to be any great shakes, to be honest. In the main story of the game, it's one of the harder areas, but after doing the Hunter's Nightmare, it's a piece of piss, quite frankly. Well, bloody hell. And the boss to that area, which is kind of the penultimate boss, is actually really easy. One of the easier enemies in this game. Oh, it's very acrobatic for ROM, isn't it, that attack? I like the way it sort of curls up like a woodlouse, which is what it resembles more than a spider, to be honest. The others are spiders, but she's not. She's more like a pillbugger, a woodlouse. You notice she's got the glowing fungus on her back that all of the kin creatures have. All of the all of the entities that are courting a particular kind of enlightenment, those that follow the rituals of Bergenworth as opposed to the healing church, they all have that glowing fungus on them. It seems to be part of the transcendence, and it derives that fungus from particular levels and layers of the nightmare, or levels of dreaming, which are in this metaphysics synonymous with levels of reality. What you discover when you wander through the layers and levels of the hunter's nightmare is that there's no such thing as reality and unreality, as fiction and truth. They are all one and the same. So yeah, this is a kind of nightmare. It's a kind of dream. Everything is, from the moment you enter Yharnam, from the moment you go under with when you have the blood ministration. It's a kind of dream, but it's also real. In fact, it's more real than waking reality. That's the whole metaphysics of this game. Rom, characters like Rom, they are those who have passed through this already. They've gone through the entire annealing process and have come out reborn as some other order of being. But the thing about Rom that makes her interesting is that she's sort of like integrated herself into it. She's become part of the narrative. She's almost like holding the nightmare back. That's what makes her so interesting, and why she's so key in the main game. Now, of course, I'm inferring all of this. There's nothing that states this. You have to infer it from what actually happens in the main game. And it's actually quite difficult to say with any certainty what is happening, but that's my reading of Rom anyway. She was definitely a scholar of Bergenworth at one time. That's definitely the case, and she somehow managed to transcend. She somehow managed to do what all of the fusty old academics at Bergenworth were trying to do, which is kind of cool, really. She transcended that level of dreaming, that level of reality, and then actually integrated herself into this grand... Oh my god, my weapon's at risk. That's not good. I'm gonna have to switch to my to Ludwig's blade, which is also... Ludwig's blade is excellent, actually. That's why I'm using it, but... stop vomiting on me. It's just not as good as the Beast Cutter at the moment, because I've upgraded the Beast Cutter to hell and back. It's a very lovely weapon. In fact, the Beast Cutter will probably be one of the weapons I take into the final fights with me, because it's just so good. It's so versatile. It's got a brilliant move set. It's strong, it's fast, it's got good defensive capacities. It's got long range, which is very good against Gehrman and the Moon Presence. It's a class act. It's a really wonderful weapon, that one of my favorites. I might try something new though this time. I might have a go at the Whirligig Saw. I like the Whirligig Saw, but I've never upgraded it to like its final state. I normally do, when it comes to the weapons from the Hunter's Nightmare, I normally do the Holy Moonlight Blade, because that's freaking awesome. It's always good, the Holy Moonlight Blade. I like Rom's tail. Rom's got an ace tail. It's a brilliant creature, actually. It's really well designed. I love the head, the way it's this kind of like monolithic slab of almost like stone, but not. Very cool. I never know what the significance is of the fact that you find Rom or something like her after you defeat Ibrietas. I don't know what that means, because of course time doesn't really mean anything in this metaphysics. I mean, millions of others have passed through these exact same events, subtly different, but pretty much the same cycle of events. Rom has. That's how Rom became what she is, right? That's how you transcend the nightmare. That's how all of those who became great ones became great ones. They passed through particular levels of dreaming and nightmare to become what they are. That's what the Hunter does at the end. If you get the best ending, if you get the ending with the thirds of the umbilical cord, that's what the Hunter does. You become a squid baby. Effectively an old one, a great one. You transcend both your humanity and the nightmare. You become a creature of the abstract, which is really cool. I think that's a great ending. I mean, at this point, I think the most we can hope for is a remake of Bloodborne in the style of Demon Souls, you know, for the PS5. That would be fantastic. I don't think there's going to be a sequel, which is kind of a shame. I would love to see where this metaphysics would go in a sequel, but at the same time, a part of me is like, well, this game is so perfect in terms of its storytelling, in terms of its metaphysics. Do you really want it to go anywhere else? Do you really want to see any more of it? I'm not sure I do. I'm not sure I do. More doesn't necessarily mean better, you know? A remake that just improves on what and expands on what we have would be fine. Absolutely fine. Maybe incorporating just a few new areas, a few new ideas, a few new story arcs. That'd be fine. Because there are some abandoned story arcs in this game, as there are in all the FromSoft games. You can see sort of like the ragged edges of them in places. There are doors that don't go anywhere. There are areas that seem like they're going to lead somewhere and don't. And that's where they either didn't have the time or the money or the capacity to make areas they had ideas for. If you look in... there's a fantastic set of books which are the concept art for these games, the Dark Souls games, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and they are wonderful, and they have a lot of the artwork that would have become character storylines areas in them, and they are utterly beautiful. The Bloodborne one in particular is out of this world. It is such a lovely book. I got them for Christmas one year from my parents because whoa, it's just beautiful. Oh, can I do a chalice ritual? I might be able to if I've got the items. In fact, what I might do in this playthrough, I might delve right down, because I've never done it before. I've never, not online, I've never done it in a playthrough. I've never delved right down to the very depths of the Chalice dungeons. So that might be a nice thing to do for this fourth Let's Play of Bloodborne. I can show you the very last boss that lingers down in the very depths of the Chalice dungeons, who is significant, interestingly, significant to the story. You've met her before. She is in the main game. I'll put it that way. She is in the main game. In one way, shape, or form. It's just fascinating. So what do I need? What do I need to open this particular Chalice dungeon, this Chalice dungeon? Probably need some arcane haze. You always need arcane haze. But I've got the thing that can turn stuff into arcane haze now, so that's nice. I've got a cup of coffee, by the way. And yes, once again, I will finish Hollow Knight and whatnot, because it's a lovely game. It's a son of a bitch. It's an evil, evil, evil son of a bitch of a game. But I will finish it because it's so lovely. I mean, it's such a pretty piece of work. But it reminds me, we've got Blasphemous 2 coming very soon. Already got some video footage of it. It looks amazing. It looks really beautiful. I mean, as I discussed with our mutual friend Rowan, I don't know where that metaphysics can possibly go, but I'm dying to find out. I am absolutely dying to find out, because from what we've seen, there's this whole thing about the miracle, the grievous miracle, having a child, which is obviously a Christ allegory. It's like, what? All right, okay, why not? Yeah, why the feck not? Oh, this is cool. You can actually spend insight as currency at this pool, which is fun, and you can buy some very interesting, unusual items. You know what I don't have? I don't have the badges that enable you to purchase particular ritual materials. We're going to have to find them at some point, because I'll need the ritual materials to conduct the rituals and open up the Chalice dungeons. But it's okay. You can actually just delve into the dungeons themselves, and you'll find the ritual items. They're not that hard to find. They usually occur in like the annex areas of we've got that now, the lower Thumaru, Chalice dungeon, which we will do. I believe there's a couple of bosses we haven't done down there. There's another Watchdog of the Old Lords. There's what else is down there? There's several other giants we haven't done. There are other Thumerian characters that we haven't done. There's a couple of interesting bosses, actually, that we haven't faced in the Chalice dungeons. You know, there is one enemy that only appears and like the rarest of the rare chalice dungeons. Most people who've played Bloodborne have never seen it, and I've never seen it except in other people's videos. It's a kind of weird slug enemy. It's not special or anything, it doesn't do anything, but it is rare. It only occurs in like it's like one in every so many million chalice dungeons. It's very strange. I love that about Bloodborne, the fact that people are still finding things in the Chalice dungeons. Like, there are certain permutations of the Chalice dungeons where you get Thumerian bosses wandering around as normal enemies, which I've encountered like once or twice, and that's just evil, quite frankly. That's just evil. But makes sense. I mean, like, the Chalice dungeons are what remains of the Thumerians' land, you know, so... Anywho, here we are in the Hunter's Nightmare, one of my favourite areas, and yes, we're going to go for it. We're going to do the Hunter's Nightmare before we move on. So, oh, look at that, the diseased sun. Love it. I love everything about the Hunter's Nightmare. I love the fact that it's like a twisted version of the realms that you've seen before, of Yharnam and of other areas as well, all melded together. It really is a nightmare. It's a ragged edge reality. It reminds me, I mean, it reminds me in style and aesthetics very, very much of American McGee's Alice, if you've ever played those games, which have a similar sort of nightmare quality about them. They are essentially, I mean, I don't think they're available on the PS4 store, but they might be available elsewhere. They are essentially horror takes on Alice in Wonderland, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're some of my favourite games. I love American McGee's Alice so much. American McGee's Alice and Alice the Madness Returns. They're both kind of ragged and unfinished games, but that's fine. There's something appealing about that to me. They're very artistic. They're very beautiful. Aesthetically, they are unparalleled. The design of the levels, the aesthetics, the nightmare imagery is just the best. It is wonderful. Really, really cool stuff. I would like to play those for you at some point. I really would. I mean, the first one looks kind of crude now, but it was, at the time, graphically very impressive. I remember I built my first PC to play that way back when I was like 19, 20. That was a while ago now. Almost 20 years. Not quite, but almost. Oh, yes. I love that. The little set piece is designed to demonstrate that here the hunters rule supreme, not the beasts. And it's the hunters you should be scared of. Because they is bastards. All of them. They're all very tough in the Hunter's Nightmare. And making them normal enemies is just vile. It's brilliant. Positively sadistic is what it is. Let's change our clothes. We haven't changed our clothes for a while. I've been rocking this for a while. Let's put something nice on. Let's put something different on. You know, for a change. Like I said, this is Bloodborne. It's not Dark Souls, so it doesn't really fucking matter what you wear, to be honest. I mean, you'll gain minor benefits, and they are very, 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 very minor. That's quite nice. It looks awkward, but it's nice. I do like just like the classic hunter garb. It's very cool. The charred hunter garb is very nice as well. Yeah, should we go with the classic hunter garb? I quite like that. We're gonna have to change our hat and gloves and everything now, though, because it doesn't look good. And that is the concern in Yharnam and its attached environments, of course. It's what looks good, it's not what functions. It's not like Dark Souls, you know? In Dark Souls, you really do want functional armor that suits the area that you're in, you know? Here, no. And the build that you've got here, nobody gives a shit, to be honest. The hunters certainly don't, because they're all mad. Well, the vast majority of... Well, no, to be fair, all of them are. All of them operate on their own peculiar levels of madness, from Gehrman to Gascoigne, from Eileen to all the bloody others that you meet. Henrik, Dumas, they're all mad. Okie dokie. Speaking of... Oh yeah, these are Hunter's dogs. And I don't know, there's something really nasty about them in the Hunter's Nightmare. They look skinned almost. They look flayed, which is unpleasant. Oh yeah, these dudes. You see that weapon he's got? That's a lovely weapon, that sickle. We'll be getting that a little later. It's a very nice weapon indeed. It's really quick. Again, that's normally one of those that I do upgrade to its ultimate state because it's just so good. It's got a very good sort of, like, there's the heavy version of it. That's very nice. But it also has the very, very, very quick version, which I favour. Very nice indeed. Okay. Now, I've got to be quite careful. There are other hunters around here, one of whom has the boom hammer. And yeah, that is what the weapon's called. It's a big, big hammer that has a furnace in it, like in the head, and it explodes when it hits things. It's got like fire damage. It's very cool. Look at him there, having a go at those beasts, and not doing anything to him. But this is the hunter's realm, and that's what hunters do. They kill beasts, right? And these are all hunters that have gone drunk with the blood, and they've lost themselves. Whatever purpose they might have had, they've lost. So they find themselves in the Hunter's Nightmare. It's where they all come eventually. There he is, that dude. They see the one facing away from us? Look, he's got a boom hammer. This guy's going to be tricky, so what we'll probably do, he's going to attack the beasts first. So we will use them as a distraction and come up on him from behind, perhaps. He will attack us as well, but he'll favour the beasts, because of course we're a hunter too, so, you know. Love his hat. Got a great wide-brimmed hat. Lots of health as well, bloody hell. You're strong, aren't you? Well, yeah, not anymore. Now you're dead. Ow! Bloody hell. They do take advantage, these beasts, you know? When the hunters are fighting one another, they do take advantage. Look at him carrying away. Fuck you, you were attacking me a minute ago. Okay. Let's get on with it. There's lots to pillage around. Do you see where we are? This is, it's the Cathedral Ward. It's that big wide open square in the Cathedral Ward that leads up to Vicar Amelia. It's just like the Twisted Nightmare version of it. And this leads up to one of the other Vicar bosses, which is, of course, Lawrence, one of the very first, one of the founders of the Healing Church, one of the high saints of the Healing Church, who also looks a little bit like Vicar Amelia in his beast form. It looks like the cleric beast is the same. It looks like, for whatever reason, the clerical characters, when they are infected with the blood, become broadly similar types of monster, which is really interesting, right? The only exception is Ludwig. Ludwig becomes an absolute abomination. Largely, I think, because he's kind of caught between multiple identities and purposes. He's both a hunter and a cleric, whereas the others aren't. And he becomes one of the most twisted beasts imaginable. He becomes an absolute abomination, which is kind of cool, right? Now then. Did we take... Oh, no, he's still there. But again, we can use the beasts... Look at this. That's just evil, isn't it? You try to walk up behind him and that shoots you in the back. But we can use the beasts as a distraction. Walk up behind him and get a nice little visceral shot in on him. There we go. Nice. Goodbye. God, they aren't half vulnerable to that. Either that, or we just have very powerful visceral attacks at the moment, which is entirely possible. My weapons are very strong right now. Hey up, it's another Doge. Doges don't fare well in FromSoft games. At all. And nor are they good boys, ever. They are very bad boys indeed. And therefore deserve to be smacked. Oh yeah, I like this little set piece, look. The scum up there, ignite that and chuck it down and it kills all the beasts. Nah. Amusing. It is possible for a bell ringer to manifest here, if you're not careful. Which is not ideal, because she summons tainted hunters, which is, you know, not good. Look at this dude. Oh, these things are amazing. They are kind of executioners, or they're derived from executioners, but they are not vile blood hunters. They are of the church, as you can tell by their garb. Look, they are swollen, twisted clerics of some description, and they've gone full bore Lovecraftian. Something awful has happened to them. If you look into their faces, it's just like a grill through which you can see the churning mass of reality. There's Lawrence. That's Lawrence. And no, it's not an icon of Lawrence. It is Lawrence. That actually is him. That's where he fell when he came to rest in the Hunter's Nightmare. We will be fighting him. We can resurrect him later, but not yet. And he's very tough. My first playthrough through of Bloodborne, he's the boss that took me the longest. He is very hard indeed. And I don't think I've ever defeated him without help. Simply because he's just so strong. He's so strong. His moveset actually isn't that complex. He's very easy to learn. But if he catches you, you are going to die. He is going to kill you regardless. Look, there's the weird mystical face. Oh, yes, so he's powered up now. He's got very powerful arcane attacks now. Love these guys. Love them. Oh my god, that's creepy. I mean, it's hard to see quite what that is coming out of the faceplate, whether it's tendrils or tree roots or whatever. It's really creepy and weird. I love them. Love them to bits. But they're somehow like guardians of sacred places in the Nightmare. There's only 1, 2, 3 of them in total, I think, in the whole game. And they're all in sacred places. They're all guarding areas where the Healing Church has secrets it doesn't want exposed, basically. That one's guarding Lawrence. The other 2 are guarding Ludwig. And look at this, a fossilized amygdala that seems to have fallen down from another layer of the Nightmare, right? That's because, as we saw, the amygdala don't operate in this level of the Nightmare naturally. They operate in others. So somehow that one fell down and ended up here. Which is kind of cool, isn't it? God knows how, but it did. Ow, ow, I always forget that one. I always forget that one and end up coming a cropper. Excuse me, ladies and gents. I'm a bit congested at the moment. It's hay fever season here in the UK. So, yeah. Oh, look, that one's glitched out. Can't kill it. It's dead. It's destroyed. It's registered as destroyed, but the model has stayed there. That's interesting. Okay, we are going to face quite a tough hunter down here. There's a Boomhammer hunter who can be problematic, but I've got the Augur of Ebrietas and they hate it. The Augur of Ebrietas is, if you're facing human enemies in Bloodborne, it's the win button. It's really good against them. Here he is. Now, facing this guy fairly here, on this little pathway, not ideal. Very difficult, in fact. But we're not going to face him fairly. We're just going to keep blasting him with the Augur of Ebrietas because he just... It's so good. It's borderline broken against hunter enemies, the Augur of Ebrietas. When you've got it, there's nothing they can do. Even Gascoigne, if you complete the game and go on to New Game Plus with the Augur, it fucks him up. It fucks them all up. It's really good. Now, I've used most of my shots, so I may have to take this guy down a bit more, fairly. Look at this, the gravestones that have got flesh sort of stretched between them. It's so creepy. It's so weird. I love it. The imagery in the Hunter's Nightmare is just... It goes full bore, complete grotesque, you know? It just tips over into surreal grotesquerie. It's absolutely wonderful, including this river of blood, by the way. And what have we got here? All right. I mean, there's also loads and loads and loads of items for upgrading your weapons, because they know, I mean, the programmers know that if you're here, then you are going to need, like, good weapons. You're going to need your weapons to be top-notch, really. Ideally, you want to come here when your weapons are fully upgraded, especially given the bosses you're going to be facing. You also get, very soon, I think it's somewhere in this house, actually, you get the claw that enables you to do the beast transformation. You need the beast. You need the beast claw, and you also need. I think you need the beast hide, and you need the beast rune, the transformation rune. Up, click, 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 run. I love that. You're expecting the guy in the wheelchair to do what he does in the waking world, which is start to shoot you. Instead, when you pick up the boon hammer, everything explodes. So cool. Okay, a river of blood. There are those look, those bloody tick things from Canehurst here. I hate them. Blech. Hello. How are you? See what I mean about the auger? Just fucking wrecks their shit. It really does. Such a good weapon. Such a bloody good weapon. I love the Augur Vebrietas. Okie dokie, now then. Whoa, bloody hell. Thank you very much, sir. Wunderbar. Ah! Coming up behind me. How dare he. Now then. Oh, you're following me, are you? That's alright. That's alright. I can take you down. Reasonably easy. You're no hunter. You're just a dude. No hunter at all. Just dudes. And just dudes is easy. Yeah, the River of Blood leads to a place called the Underground Corpse Pile. And that's where Ludwig has come to rest. Yeah. Oh, this is nice. The Constable Gloves. We'll also get the Constable Garb a little later, which is a really wonderful set. It's very, very swish, very debonair, and also just a good set as well. It's got some decent statistics on it. So, now we can go and open up one of the shortcuts, which is Ace. Let us go do that, shall we? Hello, this is Simon. Oh, with sanity? Debatable. Are we? Are we indeed? Not so sure about that. To be fair, I'm not drunk with blood. I ended up here because I brought an eyeball to an amygdala. Oh yeah, I've seen him. Thing is, I've come so far. Oh my god, yeah, I've always got an interest in nightmares. Nightmares are fascinating. Yeah, it's like an itch, isn't it? Relish is a strong word. Oh, I know that. I frigging know that, Simon. Well, Simon's a cool character. He's one of the very few characters in Bloodborne who's totally on the level. He's actually quite nice. He's quite decent. One of the very few. And I want to follow his story all the way through the Nightmare because it's a good one. And if you follow it all the way through, you get his weapon, which is the bow blade, which is actually a really, really, really nice piece of work. Okay. Well, we've got lots and lots of, I was going to call them souls then. I might even call them runes, and I'd be wrong, wouldn't I? Because they're echoes. They're exactly the same, but they're echoes. Well then. My god, I do have a nice hat, don't I, at this point? I have a very, very nice hat indeed. Anywho. Yeah, I don't know why I was standing there for so long. No, what that was about. Contemplating, weren't I? Oh god, yes, I need that repaired. Oh, good. Can we fortify anything? I could do the boom hammer. I've never used the boom hammer. It's not my style of weapon. It's a really big, heavy weapon. It's just not my style. I like the quicker ones in Bloodborne for the most part. That have like a heavy ult. That works for me. The boom hammer is just heavy. It's a really big, burly, heavy weapon. Back we go into the Nightmare, because there is on the other side of the River of Blood, there's a cave that we need to have a look at. It's not ideal, but we've got to have a look at it. Hello, Simon, you alright, mate? But we've got to have a look at it anyways, because there's stuff in there. It's very unpleasant, that cave. It's the stuff of nightmares, actually, I would say, but fuck it. Hello. Smack, smack, smack! I do like that. I don't know why I like killing them all. I could just run past them. It's not that difficult. Hello. Oh, I was hoping to get a cheeky backstab on you, but apparently not. Alright, off we go then. Are we going to just jump off? Nah. Smack, 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 smack. God, our weapons are really strong. Really strong, and that's good. That's very good indeed. Those bloody things. I like the fact that they took the trouble to make those Canehurst parasite things, the ticks, different. If you look, many of them are different models. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, some of them have shrunk abdomens, some of them have swollen abdomens. It's kind of cool. It's a nice idea. Okay, right. Ah, Scrabbler! Let's kill him, because he's probably got something good. In the Hunter's Nightmare, the Scrabblers usually have bloodstone chunks, which is really excellent. Yeah, there we go. That's lovely. They're the second biggest of the chunks you can get, and the rarest. Some of the rarest, anyway. You see him, the Hunter? This is a particular Hunter, and he's a pain in the arse, quite frankly. He's an absolute pain in the arse, and he's probably going to kill me, but let's give it a go anyway. There are ways and means of doing this. One of which, you can get him to deactivate. And if he deactivates, he goes back to the cave mouth and just stands there, and then you can just visceral him, which is kind of nice. However, it doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's very aware that I'm here. So let's give him a good old go, shall we, and see how we get on. He's got tons of health. Bloody hell. Tons and tons of health. Ow, 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 bloody hell. Yeah, he's also got a chain gun, which is not ideal. Is it, sir? I can't remember his name, this one. Ow, ow, ow. Ooh, he's gonna fuck us up. Yeah, he fucked us up. Good and proper. Yep. I know. I'm aware. Gave us a good old smack there, didn't he? No worries, though. We'll just get back there, won't we? No problemo. Here we are. Back in the Hunter's Nightmare. And there's Simon just waiting around, as he does, until you kill the next boss. We've exhausted his conversation option, so when we do kill the next boss, he will move on. He'll move on to the next stage of his story, which is kind of cool. You can end his story at multiple points, like a lot of the characters, by doing and saying different things. It's a bit like Eileen in that regard. There's a couple of character hunters, actually, in the Hunter's Nightmare, all of which are fairly interesting. Bragar, I think, is the other one that we'll meet. Bragar, and there's one who's gone mad, who is banging his head against a wall. I can't remember his name, but he's kind of cool too. Okay, right. Well, we killed the Scrabbler, so we can just concentrate on the Hunter now, who is a bit tough. We're going to have to play this ring around the rosy game, because that's the way you defeat him. This rock is here for a reason. Okay, okay. Let's deal with... I should really have put the lantern on, shouldn't I? That would have helped. The Hunter's Lantern is a great item. It would certainly help us to see down here, because it's very dark, isn't it? Is he deactivated? It'd be nice if he has deactivated, actually. That would be really lovely. Let us see. Let us see. Has he deactivated? We might be able to get a visceral on him if he has. Oh, no! No! Oh, well. Let's get him. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's difficult, but not that difficult, as long as you take your time with him. He's that kind of boss, you know, that kind of hunter. A lot of them are here, actually. As long as you take your time, you'll generally be okay, and as long as you've got the right equipment to take them down. As I say, the Augur's pretty good. The Augur of Ebdietas, we'll be using that quite a lot. Although he can dodge it, you've got to be quite careful. You've got to catch him at particular points with it. Otherwise, he will fuck you up. And you can visceral him, but it's difficult in this darkness because you need to get him at a particular point in his animation, and you can't quite see it. So, yeah. Look, there's those blooms, look. You see? The weird arcane blooms. that occur in certain areas of the nightmare. Very strange. That's another part of the symbolism in Bloodborne. There's something about growths, fungus and flowers that are redolent of particular levels of the nightmare and certain metaphysics in the game. It's kind of cool. It's like the the kin enemies, those blobby alien things. They're represented by flowers and by growths and whatnot, and they're related somehow to the Great Ones, although it's difficult to say how exactly. And to Ebrietas, I mean, significantly to Ebrietas. They seem to be, the reason they're called kin is because they are byproducts of experiments by the Healing Church to create Great One human hybrids that can be used to communicate with the Great Ones. That's the thing. Nobody can communicate directly with the Great Ones. They operate on levels that are just too far beyond humanity. You can't just talk to them, for example. It just doesn't work. And they can't just talk to you either. They operate on levels that are far and beyond basic communication, which is why the kin are kind of necessary insofar as the Healing Church are concerned. Of course, their every effort fails miserably because they're the Healing Church and nothing they do is good or right. If there is such a thing as a villain in this game, it's the Healing Church. There's no doubt about it. Although, the scholars of Bergenworth don't exactly cover themselves in glory either, nor do the hunters, as we're going to see. I mean, part of the reason this nightmare exists is as a kind of penance for the hunters and Bergenworth and for the Healing Church. It can, as Simon said, it contains secrets. It contains secrets. I think he's dead. Yeah, there he goes. It contains secrets that they would rather nobody found out, quite frankly, about their origins, about where they discovered blood ministration. Let me put this bloody lantern on, because I can't see a buggering thing. Hang on. Where is it? It's a very lovely item, this one. You only have to activate it once, and then it just stays on forever. There we go. Lovely. That's better. Look at that. That's much more wonderful, isn't it? Now, those of you who know there's something in this place. Oh, these guys, for one. Now, where did we last see these guys? Do you remember? It was in Old Yharnam, wasn't it? Oh, and they've got the old red eye going on. And what else did we face in Old Yharnam? Do you remember? What was the boss in Old Yharnam? Yeah, that's right. There's one of those down here. A blood-starved beast. Quite how it's blood-starved in this area, I don't know, because there's nothing but blood, but there we are. It's a blood-starved beast. It's only a little one. It's an infant blood-starved beast, an immature one. But it's a blood-starved beast, nonetheless. That's what this thing is trying to do. It's trying to lead us back so we wander right into its den. It's not nice, really. It's really not nice. No. What can I use? What can I use? I haven't got any fire paper, do I? No. Oh, well. Because fire's good against the blood-starved beast. It doesn't like it. Oh, well. I mean, this is a relatively weak one. It's not that tough. Here it comes. Here we go. It's a little one. Look, it's smaller than the other blood-starved beasts that we fought. And it's not that strong, actually. It doesn't do the poison mode thing either. It doesn't like erupt into poison like the more mature ones do. God, it's such a hideous thing, isn't it? Of all the monsters in Bloodborne, as hideous as they get, that's got to be one of the most grotesque, with those flaps of skin and everything. It's so vile. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. As long as you hold your nerve here, it's really not that tough. I mean, you just fight it like you do in either in the Chalice dungeons or in Old Yharnam. Keep to its flanks, keep out of the way of its strikes, and make sure it doesn't poison you, and you'll be fine. Yep, there we go. Watch out for that temper tantrum attack. Look, it's really weak compared to the boss ones that you fight. It doesn't have the endurance or the stamina of the boss ones. It's still vicious. I mean, don't get me wrong. Because of the darkness and whatnot, it's easy to get killed by it. But by and large, nah, it's pretty easy. There we go. That's one Bloodstar Beastie gone. And we got a gem for our troubles. And if you come right to the back here, another one of my favourite weapons, the Amygdalan Arm. It's actually the living arm of an Amygdala that you can use as a weapon. It's really good. Its small version is like a whip, and its big version is like a club. It's very good. I remember, I think in my first Let's Play of Bloodborne, I from this point on, I used the Amygdalan Arm as one of my main weapons. It's very, very nice. Weird, very strange, but very cool. Okie dokie, well, I've got lots of stuff. So, I've got lots of stuff actually. I've got loads of blood echoes. Oh, it's nice to be out in the light of the sickly sun again, isn't it? So, let's go spend them, shall we? Get out my way. Thank you very much. Repulsive thing. Big bag of blood. Woo. Okay. Right. Let's go back to the Hunter's Dream. I've got lots to spend, and after that, well, there's nothing else to do in the Hunter's Nightmare now. No, I tell a lie, there's two things we could do. There's a beast guy that we could kill, a beast hunter, who's got the beast claw, which is a very nice weapon, and we'll do that, definitely. And then, oh my god, then it's probably what many consider to be the hardest boss in the whole game, and I certainly do. Ludwig. He is a bastard. An absolute bastard, and I'm hoping there's someone around who'll help me, quite frankly, because I find him very difficult on my own. Well, let's see. Before that, I need to go and do all my levelings up and whatnot, don't I? So let's go do that, because I've earned it. I've definitely earned it in this this video. Okay, madam. Who's asleep? Asleep on the job, God's sake. Wake up! I need blood echoes channeling. Oh, nope, I don't. Hang on. Hang on. I need to, hang on. I've got some spare, and that'll bring me up to the level. There we go. Lovely. Boom! Lovely. Okay, let's get a little bit of endurance, shall we? Because that's always good. Lovely, thank you very much. Okay, well, that's it, my loves. When we come back, Ludwig the Accursed. Until then, bye-bye. Or not quite. Ooh, I've done those, haven't I? Yeah. Okay, I'm just double-checking. I keep forgetting which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. Okay, until next time, my loves. Bye-bye.